welcome back. Today I will cover a little background on version control software, why you need it, how it works in general, and then I will list down some of the very famous version control software. So this is our basic agenda. What is version control system, why we need it, how it works, client server versus distributed model, some known VCS. Okay, why we need version controls and what is basically a version control software? Well, it's a component of software configuration management, commonly known as SCM, which manages the changes like documents, source code, binaries, could be large website, or any other information which you want to be tracked. Literally, it can be anything which you want to track. Yeah, changes are usually identified as a version number or level. So this version control software keeps track of every single modification or changes with revision level so that if you did some mistake or something went wrong with the latest release, you can go back to the previous release anytime. You can compare the code changes, you can fix the mistake. Isn't it a cool feature for the developers? Or for that matter to everyone who wants to keep track of version for their work. It helps you to maintain different version of the product like prod, dev, QA, or feature release, different branches, right? So this version control software makes it easy to collaborate with others. It actually is required for any project which involves more than one people anytime. Well, it helps you to develop and ship product faster with proper checks like peer review, CI/CD test, etc. So basically, it's the integral part of DevOps portfolio. That's all for now. See you in the next lecture. So today we are going to cover how basically the version control software works. Well, you don't need to know the internals of how it works actually to work with the version control, say Git as an example. But I will share very basics of it, which can help you to understand how the flow works. As you can see, the command git flow in this image, it initialized an empty Git repository for you and asked very few questions related to different branches, including the base branch, that is master here, and these many branches with support, feature, releases, hotfix, etc. Well, this would help you to understand when you are working on a project which has many developers and working on various new old features, trying to fix some bugs, etc. But don't worry, as of now, we would explain each command when we will start with git commands. This is just to show you how it will be when you will work on an established project. Now imagine there are only two branches, that is main branch, which is generally master, and the other is a develop branch. You would work on dev branch as shown here with the purple color, and then you will merge with the master, which is shown as, let's say, version 0.2 here. So whatever changes you have till this part, you are going to merge in the master branch, and then you continue to again work with your dev branch, and after a point of time you are again going to merge with your changes with your master, and so on. So this dev branch will go on. Well, this will help you when you are working on a single project or with a very less developers. But imagine about the situation when you have a bigger project where you have everything like master, develop, feature, release, so many things. Well, again, don't worry about the terms like merge, branch, tag, etc. We will cover these in our course anyways. Now, don't get scared by seeing this complex image. It is nothing, just showing how a full-fledged project grows with a span of time. It will have not just dev and master branch as like we have seen in the previous image. Here there will be many branches like release, hotfix, develop, right? And then what you are going to do here is, do you remember the git flow in it which I showed you at the beginning? It was exactly the same, right? So it is just the illustration of that. Now see how it branches out from master, which is in this blue color, to hotfix orange color, right? And then from master to dev as well, and dev to feature 1, maybe feature 2, at different span of development, and merging various stages back to master from here. And again, lots of changes we are doing, we are merging here, again we are going through some feature, and then this feature we are merging here. So till we are making sure like it is going to be a master ready for the production. So this is actually ready to ship at the production level. Well, that's it for now, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next video. Welcome back. Today we will cover the basic difference between client server version control software, which is also known as centralized version control software, versus distributed version control software, which is commonly known as DVCS. Well, in client server model, developers use a shared single repository, as you can see this image. So left side you see there is a centralized version control server where the whole history of this project exists, but locally you have only the latest project with the file. You don't have any history of the whole project, right? Whereas in distributed approach, each developer works directly with their own local repository and share the changes to remote as a separate state. So basically you can work offline with your repo and commit changes locally in distributed version control software. We would be working on Git, which is a popular example of this distributed approach. So in short, centralized CVS or CVCS history of changes remains at central server, and you have only the latest version of work and push the latest changes. Whereas in distributed control version software, everyone has a local snapshot of the entire project and act like you are the owner of the complete project. So even if main server crashes, you still have the full repository in your local machine. In CVCS, you need to contact server all the time to commit the changes. Also need to see, meanwhile, if someone has already pushed the changes to the same file. Merge conflict, right? Well, in DVCS or a distributed approach, you commit all your changes locally in a local repo and just check once with pull and then push to central repo. Well, it is very quick and easy, isn't it? CVS and SVN are very popular example of CVCS, whereas Git and Mercurial are the famous distributed version control software. That's it for this lecture, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next lecture. Hello, friends. Hope you enjoyed the basics of version control software, what it is, how it works, what is the main difference between centralized versus distributed version control software so far. Well, it is the last lecture of this version control software basics lesson. So let's start with some known VCS. Well, I will cover only the very few, which is that's why I have written naming a very popular one only. So the first one is concurrent version system, which is commonly known as CVS, which was actually written in 1990s. It was written in C on Linux platform, and it was the part of GNU project. And the last stable release was in 2008. So you can imagine the hint is it is getting outdated, right? So you can see more about this in this URL. Now the next one is again the very famous one, subversion, commonly known as SVN. Well, it was created by CollabNet in 2000. Now it's an Apache project, and it's again written in C. and it is actually the compatible successor of CVS. The latest version of SVN is October 2019. It means it is still in use, and the companies like Accenture, LinkedIn, Atmail, Codrus, etc. uses it. Here comes Mercurial. Well, I was using it in around 2010, so it was very famous by that time, and it is one of the example of distributed version control software. So it was created in 2005, mainly written in Python, but few C and Rust as well. But the latest version is very latest. It's April 2020, and the many companies basically uses it. The open source projects like Mozilla, Nginx, OpenJDK uses it. This is its URL. Perforce. If you are working in one of the enterprise company like TCS, then you might have heard about perforce. Amazon used it in early days, and Google uses still for Piper based on perforce for private repo. Well, NetApp, TCS, Akamai, Amazon, internally some of them might be still using perforce. There are many others, GNU Bazaar, BitKeeper. These all are basically open source and free. There are few paid one as well, like Azure TFVC, which is Team Foundation Version Control. Well, I have not written here about Git because the whole course is on Git. So we'll discuss more about that after this lesson. That's all for this lecture, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next lecture. So you can again follow FlexMind in different social channels. You can follow me as well in different social channels. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Please let me know if this video was helpful for you and you learned something. I would encourage to comment your feedback so that it will encourage me to create more videos like this.